In our previous lectures, we have completed with the evidences of cyclic structure of glucose. Now we are going to take up various reactions of glucose. The first one is action of alkali. So what do you mean by an alkali? A base. These are nothing but the bases which are formed by the alkali and metals. So that is the first group elements, potassium, sodium, all that. So the best one we use generally for the reactions is sodium hydroxide. So under the action of alkali, we are taking one is action of dilute alkali, and then we will see the action of concentrated alkali. So first we are going to discuss about the action of dilute alkali. So this reaction was first observed by the behavior of monosaccharides. That is, either you start with the glucose, fructose or mannose. What you observe in the ultimate product is again the mixture of glucose, fructose and mannose. That means we are starting with the one of the reactants. Either you start with glucose or you start with mannose or you start with the fructose. But ultimately what we are getting in the mixture, we are going to get the glucose, then fructose and mannose. So this was first observed by Lowry, D. Brun, Alberta von Akenstein. So these scientists, what they observed is a rearrangement is taking place here. That is, the reversible reaction is taking place over here. So here aldose is getting converted into ketose. This mechanism I have shown separately, and then one aldose is getting converted into another aldose, that is called as epimerization. So one aldose is getting converted to ketose is not called as epimerization. What is aldose and ketose? For example, aldose, if you take glucose, and the ketose we can take as the fructose. So glucose and fructose are not epimers, they are functional isomers. Their molecular formula is same. Isom is molecular formula is same, but where do they differ? They differ in their functional group. In glucose the functional group is aldehyde group, and in case of fructose the functional group is a ketose. So here two different mechanisms are taking place, but ultimately in the product what we are getting is a mixture of glucose, fructose and mannose. So first we are going to take up the aldose to ketose transformation. So over here if you observe, here we have started with the glucose. This is the aldehyde group of the glucose, carbonyl group. It is highly polar, delta positive with the carbon and delta negative. So this is taking place in lot of water, dilute alkali. Then here we have an alpha carbon over here. Which carbon is called as an alpha carbon? The carbon which is adjacent to the functional group. Here the functional group is the aldehyde functional group. So this proton, will say that this proton is highly acidic. Generally alpha uh, hydrogens are acidic in nature, isn't it? Because of the electromeric effect operating over here. So ultimately what is happening? The base over here, the water is present and sodium hydroxide is present here. So a lot of base is present over here. So this base will abstract the alpha proton. That is, whenever the proton is going, it leaves the bond and goes away. So this bond will be converted into any of the terms, either into a negative charge or into a pi bond or into a lone pair as per our requirement. So here electromagnetic effect is taking place over here. This oxygen will get a negative charge, then protons are available, so this will get a protonated and get converted into OH. And what did I tell you over here? When the proton is going away, it leaves the bond and goes away, so this will be converted into a double bond over here. So we can see over here, so whenever we get a double bond, that means that is, we call it as ene diol. That is, on a double bonded carbon atoms, there are two hydroxyl groups are present. So all means one hydroxyl group is present. Diol means two hydroxyl groups are present. So this is a intermediate which is not very stable. So this is, see here, this is ene diol. So this is ene diol. So this compound is not very stable. Then what happens? As I told you, a lot of base is present over here. So this base will abstract the hydroxyl group because we have to convert it into a fructose, and the functional group in case of the fructose is at the second carbon atom. So preferably the proton will be lost from the hydroxy group which is attached to the second carbon atom. Then when the proton is abstracted from here, this bond will be going as a negative charge on oxygen. Simultaneously, the double bond over here we can see the resonance over here. Resonance has got over, taking place over here. So this negative charge will shift over here, and this one will go as a negative charge on the carbon atom. So when the negative charge is created on the carbon atom, then what happens? Protons are available. So this carbon will get protonated over here. So here we can see this carbon has got protonated. This proton we got it from the solution, that is the alkali. So this negative charge has got converted into the pi bond. So as a result, what did we get? A functional group, that is a keto group, has been created over here at the, so this is nothing but the transformation by the loss and the gain of the proton. Transformation has taken place in the presence of the alkali. Now next we are going to take up epimerization. So this is also a part of the same reaction mixture, but I have separated both the transformations. Aldose to ketose separately I am showing, so that will be very clear to you. Then next, in the same reaction mixture, one more mechanism is taking place, that is the epimerization. Epimerization means the conversion of the, in epimerization the functional group remains same. That is, suppose if we start with the aldehyde, any aldohexose, then we will get the aldohexose only. But somewhere in between the carbon atoms configuration will change. That's it. But here what is happening? Complete, one was we have started with the aldehyde, and then we have got transformed into a keto group over here. So this is nothing but the transformation of a functional group from aldose to ketose. Now next we are going to take up with the epimerization. In that example we are taking conversion of glucose into mannose. So let us take up epimerization now. We are starting with glucose, the same dilute solution. Once we have seen the transformation of glucose into fructose, now in that same reaction mixture, in the same solution, we will study how this glucose is getting converted into mannose. So we have this solution. In the solution we have this small quantity of glucose over here. So this one is the alpha carbon. As in the previous transformation we have seen that alpha carbons or whatever hydrogen is present over here, it is highly acidic over here, so it can be lost very easily. It can be lost as a proton, because here aldehyde group is present, which is an electron withdrawing group. Because of that electromeric effect, the proton can be lost very easily. So what changes we are able to see over here? Let us see. So what is happening here? Many protons are present, as well as the hydroxyl groups are present in the solution. So the hydroxyl group abstracts this proton, then this bond will be converted into a pi bond over here, and then simultaneously what is happening here? Due to electromeric effect, a negative charge is created on oxygen. Then immediately the moment negative charge is created, many protons are available, so it will get protonated. Again we are getting the ene diol. This we have seen in the during the aldose to ketose transformation also. So this is ene diol. So what is a little different over here is, when you go back to the second carbon atom, this is a stereo center. Stereo center means here chirality is there. This carbon is chiral carbon. Second, third, fourth, fifth carbons are chiral carbons over here. So no other carbon changes are taking place over here except the second carbon over here. First carbon, third, fourth and fifth, sixth carbon, there is no change at all. So the second carbon here, because of the loss of the proton and this glucose getting converted into the ene diol form, at the second carbon atom, the chirality is lost. It is no more a stereo center. Here in the previous case, in the second carbon atom, in case of glucose, it was sp3 hybridization. Chiral means it should be tetrahedral. But now in the ene diol, the same second carbon atom has got sp2 hybridization. That means it has become planar, sp2 hybridization. And this ene diol form is not very stable. So the hybridization from sp3 has changed into sp2 hybridization, that is planar. Chirality is lost. Then we need to attack protons over here. So the possibility of the proton is it can attack, since it has become planar, it can attack from both the sides. It can attack from this side as well as from the front side as well as from the rear end. Suppose if the attack takes place from this side, if the attack of what? If the attack of proton is taking place from this side, from left hand side, then simultaneously what is happening? The first carbon atom hydroxyl group proton will be abstracted by the OH over here, and this part will get converted into the aldehyde group. So the first carbon atom, it was never chiral. So after in the indiol also it is not chiral. Anyways, so the first carbon atom here in the first position carbonyl group, that is the aldehyde group, is regenerated, and in the second carbon atom what is happening? In the indiol the chirality was lost, but by the attack of proton it will regain its chirality. That means again a new asymmetric center will be created. New because now this is some other compound, it is no more a glucose. That is why we are calling it as a new asymmetric center. So if the proton, whether it attacks from the left hand side or from the right hand side, at the second carbon atom is regaining its chirality. So that is why we are saying that a new asymmetric center is generated at the second carbon. Now this hydrogen has attacked from the left hand side, so we'll get OH on the right hand side. So whenever a new asymmetric center is generated, according to the rule of stereochemistry, what we will get? We will get a pair of isomers. We will get a pair of isomers. So where is the only difference? The only difference is over here is at the second carbon atom. Only the second carbon atom, all the changes are taking place. Why? Because the regain of the stereo center is taking place at the second carbon atom. So as a result, if the proton attacks from the left hand side, the OH we will get on right hand side, so we will get glucose. And if the proton attacks from the right hand side, the OH flips onto the left hand side, so this is called as mannose. So glucose and mannose are mandatory, that is by default we are getting in the solution. We cannot stop any one of them because the generation of the stereochemical center or the new asymmetric center is we cannot control it. By default two isomers are formed. So as a result we have seen that glucose, some of the molecules of glucose has got converted or transformed into the fructose. Fructose is already there in the product mixture, and then now we have seen the epimerization. The same glucose has got converted again into, we are getting some molecules of glucose as well as mannose. So ultimately what is there in the product? We can see here the final product is a mixture of D-glucose, D-fructose and D-mannose. Okay, so epimerization I have shown separately the mechanism, and transformation I have shown separately the mechanism. So if you do it separately, then only you can understand it well. So what we have discussed today, we have discussed actually the action of alkali. Under action of alkali, we have taken up first one, the action of dilute alkali. So under dilute alkali, what is the mixture, product mixture, what we are getting? We are getting the D-glucose, D-fructose and D-mannose. So the transformation of D-glucose to fructose we have seen, and then transformation of D-glucose to D-mannose is called as epimerization. Now we are going to take up with the action of concentrated alkali. Here what do you mean by the term concentrated? The term concentrated means more amount of alkali is present. Suppose if we take sodium hydroxide, dilute sodium hydroxide, suppose if we take 1 gram into 100 ml of water, and if we take concentrated alkali, we can take 40 grams of sodium hydroxide in 100 ml of water, that is highly concentrated solution of the sodium hydroxide. So if you take such solutions, concentrated alkali solutions, and pour into sugar solutions or sugar, then what happens? Complete, decomposition takes place, complete fragmentation takes place. Ultimately what happens? Slowly on standing, the color changes to yellow and then into a deep brown resinous mass, and this is called as a caramelization. So concentrated alkali leads to the caramelization of the sugar. Hope the action of alkali is very clear to you.
Now you go practice today's lesson. But before you leave, don't forget to subscribe my channel and hit that bell icon so that you get the notification every time I upload a new lecture. See you again in the next video.